All right, so Runeterra just had their third set release, and two mechanics that were in this set are the day and the night mechanic. For people that haven't been keeping up, we've got one champion with each. Daybreak triggers as a bonus for a card that you play if it's explicitly the first card you play in a turn. So Leona here is 4 mana. Daybreak, so if it's the first card you played, stun the strongest enemy, which means it can't attack or block this turn. She levels up if you've had Daybreak trigger 4+ times. Her leveled mode's a little bit bigger and stuns the strongest enemy anytime any of the other cards you play trigger Daybreak. The other mechanic is Nightfall, which, to be the opposite of Daybreak, triggers a bonus on your cards if it's explicitly not the first card you've played. Diana is a very good, aggressive, and kind of controlling champion in a way, so she has quick attack all the time, which means she hits first when attacking, and Nightfall, so if she's not your first card, she gives herself Challenger, so she can force something to block. Challenger plus quick attack is a very good combination of keywords to have, because you can force things into blocks that you're going to get to quick attack down before they hit you back. She levels similar to Leona, where if you activated Nightfall 4+ times, her bigger mode also gets a trigger every time Nightfall happens. She gains extra attack and Challenger. So if you trigger Nightfall when she's leveled, she's a 5/3 quick attack, which kills most things in combat. And if you trigger Nightfall multiple times in the turn, she gets even bigger than that, which is really excellent. So the rest of the deck is just a bunch of the kind of core Daybreak and Nightfall enablers. So let's go ahead and dive on into some games here with this one and see how this goes. They've killed a level A soul with Diana triggers. That's great. That's sick. So opponent is playing Trundle Aurelion Sol, which is either a ramp or more controlling deck. I have Soltari Shield Bearer here as a 2-drop. I'm going to keep Crescent Guardian as a Nightfall card. I'm going to mulligan these two, looking for a Nightfall enabler for this for 3. Yes, if you're hanging out from the Magic segment, you should make sure to refresh your stream overlay so you can get the mouse over cards. For people that are hanging out from the Magic segment, there's some parallels to Magic in this game, but there's a lot of unique things it does that are really great. The turn structure is kind of similar to Magic in that both players are playing each turn. The thing that's different from Magic is that as both players are playing, effectively both players untap and draw a card each turn. I think I want to go ahead and offer this trade. That seems fine. So attacking and blocking works similar to Magic. I declare attackers, they declare blockers. With the caveat that you can't double block things in this game. The resource system is more similar to Hearthstone in that there's a linear resource progression. So you see we both went up to 2 mana and refilled our mana here. I'm going to go ahead and play out Soltari Shield Breaker here. The bonus here is going to kind of be a spew, but I like getting pressure down into play here. So the 1-drop that I played on 1 generates what's a very powerful Nightfall enabler. So it's a Dusk Petal, which basically explicitly exists to make our Nightfall things better. So we play this for 1, and then it makes our Nightfall thing cheaper, so it gets enabled. So this is a 3/3 with Overwhelm, which is similar to Trample, that gets bigger permanently if it's Nightfall, so... Opponent has an Equinox here, which silences my follower. So that wipes all of its bonus text off. That's fine. It's still a 3/3. So it loses that 2 bonus and Overwhelm, but it's still something that can attack and block here.
The trolls are going to war!
That's a big in. So we got a 4/6 here with regeneration. Normally damage stays on units across turns in this game. Regeneration means that's not the case. I kind of think I want to... I think I want to just bank spell mana this turn. I could also play Soltari Priestess, so Invoke lets us pick from one of 3 Celestial cards to put in our hand, and one of the 6-drop cards would obliterate this. Yeah, sweet. So there's a pool of 6 different cards that you can get to pick from here. And Falling Comet's definitely one of the better ones here. My 1 unused mana here gets carried over to the next turn as a spell mana. So I'm going to go up to 5 and have 1 bank, so I'll be able to Falling Comet this. What do you think of the Taric Leeson deck? I've not played with it, and I haven't really played against it, so I don't really have a informed opinion on it. I did have someone just add it to my deck queue, so we're going to get to it on stream sometime soon, but I try to shy away from giving opinions on things I'm not very certain of. Feels like this opponent's just going to solidly stabilize. Our deck's kind of aggressive, and they're developing a board here. So, like, I could attack in here and trade one of these off. That doesn't seem particularly exciting because this is a 5/8. This gets to heal that for 5. Is a big 5-drop. I think I'm gonna go ahead and Day Spear here, see what we get.
Blessed daylight surrounds you.
It's not bad. So this card says it's always day, which means our Daybreaks trigger even if they're not the first card we play in a turn, which is nice. Avalanche. Yep. So this attack is curious. This does 1 damage to all battling units. So you can see here when I block and mouse over the eye, these are going to trade because they avalanche. I think that trade's good for me, so I'm going to take it. So I have 7 total mana plus 1 extra spell mana banked. So this means I could go Soltari Soldier into Diana, into Crescent Guardian, into Pale Cassad, which sounds kind of appealing. I could also just open on Sun Guardian here, which is an 8/8 the turn it comes down, but then reverts back to a 3/3 afterwards. I think I want to try and go wide here. We'll see. They're at 8 mana, so we could see them play something very large out here. Oh yeah, they have the Ice Pillar, which refills their mana too from the Trundle. Yeah, no, it's always day does not prevent nightfall from happening.
By the moon's crescent blade.
So I think I'm just attacking into this 8/7 here. Oh, I don't have always day anymore. Yeah. So Diana's got Challenger, so Diana can force this to block. This is vulnerable, so anything can force it to block. So I'll put my 5/3 in front of here, and then I'll attack with the rest of these, and they can choose to block whichever one they'd like. This is down to 4 toughness, so we can hopefully block it with Crescent Moon to trade off this turn. Oh, this is vulnerable, so they can force it to block something else.
Come on in.
Tavern Keeper heals their thing. Alright, let's see what we can roll up with Priestess here. Another Falling Comet seems like a good insurance plan. This has Spell Shield, so I can't just Falling Comet it right away, but they'll probably have something else I want to comment later. So she's leveling up because I triggered Nightfall for the 4th time. So these will trade here. think I just let this happen. So they made their thing bigger and mine smaller. It's gonna go down to 4 toughness. I can hopefully hook this with Diana next turn and kill it. Looking to fade another avalanche.
Spilled paint is just accidental art.
So we'll get to bank 3 spell mana here. I think we open on Sun Guardian and see what happens from there.
So many tinies.
So if I Pale Cascade this is still going to get 2 from her own trigger, so we'll be able to hook this and kill it still. So I think that's fine. I just want to buff my Overwhelm for the bigger hit. Am I supposed to play? So I can only have 6 things, but I could play Lunari Priestess to replace this. I guess, I was gonna say, do I get blown out by an avalanche? Not really, because it kills a bunch of their stuff too. Am I supposed to Priestess to make this bigger in case they can protect this again? Probably not.
Face your heretic.
Combat resolves left to right in this game, so the ordering of your attackers frequently matters. Okay, this just happened, so that's really good for us. They have 2 cards left in their hands, so depending on what their bombs look like. Yeah, their Troll Chant would save it regardless, is a good thing to point out. So now the question is, do I want to Lunari Priestess this turn, or do I want to save it later to trigger Diana again? I feel like there's some value in getting my Celestial right now.
Daylight fades and dusk soothes. As the moon rises, quiet reflection begins.
It's a very good draw. She's leveled, and I have a Sultari Shieldbearer next turn. Okay, and here's Aurelion Sol, but Leona's actually just a very stunning draw here, because Leona, her stun breaks the spell shield, and then I have this meteor that I've been holding in my hand that gets to finish him off. So spell shield stops the first time something would happen to him. Gotta hope to fade Bastion here. That does now, so the downside here to that is I can't Comic Inspiration now, is the issue. So I don't behold another Celestial. Opponent surrendering, sure.
Daylight everlasting.
Yeah, the Invoke cards really give you some nice staying power into the mid-game for your aggro deck, which is great. Opponent is playing Garen, Demacia, Ionia. Ooh, that's a great draw.
We were peaceful once.
Ours is the one true light. Devotion to battle.
Yeah, there's been a couple of visual glitches with the latest patches, Errol, where the cards occasionally disappear. Reduce the cost of all allies in hand by 1. Neat.
Bask in her radiant blessing. To the field! Form up!
So we're playing like an elite deck. That's interesting. 3-3 with Tufsa. Tough nut to crack.
Bless the faithful and sear the heretics.
Yeah, this might be a matchup where our things are just a little bit smaller than theirs, where we really need to find our way.
For duty.
We really need to find a, what's it called? A Leona to kind of control the board a little bit.
Transgressions.
Demacian steel protects me!
I'm a smith, not a soldier.
So they're taking favorable trades, but they're going to take 7 to do it. Looking to fade like single combat here. Yeah, single combat's not even that bad. Looking to just push enough damage that like the elusive Golden Sister. So this is a 4/3 6-drop with lifesteal. And when it comes into play, it summons an elusive. Boros247, thanks for the brand new Prime support. I really appreciate that. Welcome to Oglandia. Thanks for keeping me around. Hey. That's exactly what we're looking for. She's going to,
Fighting for.
Yep. She's gonna level herself up here.
Daylight breaks on the battlefield. To shine like the sun, you must burn like it!
She's gonna go ahead and stun their 5/3 here. And they're at 8. So maybe I just Dusk Petal into Lanari Shadestalker here, and then I can play Golden Sister and get in for 6 elusive next turn. I think is probably the play.
Unseen, unheard.
I can ship with the 5/3 Overwhelm as well, potentially. Yeah, the stat line on Leona is just good, right? Give all allies Challenger this round. Okay.
I'll turn the tide!
So our board's about to get gobbled up a little bit here.
To our standard.
Yeah, Judgment's very good with Garen.
Sisters.
Opponent is playing just Garen for champions. Champion?
What once was 2, now is 1.
So elusive is similar to flying, can only be blocked by other elusive units. So they're at 8, and I've got a 4-power elusive here, so they don't have another piece of spot removal.
This is time.
Or a way to silence this. They could have something like a Whimsy, perhaps? Or a single combat. What's the requirement to level Garen? He has to strike twice.
I've trained my whole life for this.
So they're down to 4 here, which means if this finds a... if this finds the Drain Beast, it's actually lethal. Oh, yeah. Doom Beast. So this looks at our top 4 cards, and there's the Doom Beast. So we get to grab Doom Beast here, which drains 2 with its Nightfall trigger. So they're going to 2 here, so unless they have a way to gain life this turn, they'll be dead to the Nightfall trigger on this next turn.
Stand strong. Glory unrelenting.
there's no reason to open on attacks, right? They just know they're dead to the Doom Beast. How's this deck been shaping up? Seems reasonable so far. We beat a control ramp deck in the first one, Trundle and Aurelion Sol, and we beat a Garen Aggro deck there just now. Bit of a Bannerman brew. But I'm playing Diana Twisted Fate, eh? Hush doesn't seem very useful to start. I think I need to mulligan some amount of these, looking for enablers. I'm gonna keep Diana and mulligan the rest. That's fine. We didn't find the Nightfall enabler, but we found some Daybreak cards to start with. Something competitive. So, with the new set recently just dropping Raging Bull, I don't have really solid recommendations for what's guaranteed to be competitive just yet. Feel like you probably want to give it like until the end of next week if you want a lot of certainty. That being said, like most cards in this game end up being fairly competitive, so like I would take a peek at different decks that different streamers have played and find one that tickles your fancy. I tend to play a few different decks each day, and you can find my favorites on my website and my YouTube channel tagged there. I think we just play Shield Bearer out here because it means that they don't have good attacks. Now the downside to playing the Shield Bearer is that if I would have played this here, they would have had okay attacks this turn, but then I could have Shield Bearer into Diana the following turn. You think Invoke is nuts? I think Invoke's a pretty appropriate power level. I think a lot of people have just like, a lot of content producers especially are appropriately focusing on new cards for the content that they're making. So it's very easy to tunnel vision on people keep playing these things when in reality there's a bunch of things that are good. These are just the ones streamers are playing at the moment. Yeah, I agree, Cutie Pootie. The list of things Runeterra does well that's refreshing is for his log. Feel like I'm not attacking this turn, probably just passing.
Frog if you work, run if you don't.
Yeah, I agree, Cheek. Like, most all of the decks that were good last season should still be good now. It's basically like the TLDR.
Temperamental as moonlight.
You'd like +2/+1 to someone? Sure.
We will not suffer unbelievers.
They will not escape punishment.
I don't know, five mana for a card that technically doesn't impact the board doesn't seem that unreasonable, Stigall.
You trespass on sacred lands, unbeliever.
You know not the meaning of sacred.
Seven mana +2/+2 spell. I mean, it's technically not just 7 mana +2/+2 though, right? Like it technically has. You technically have to have another Celestial with it too, so there's an extra cost on there. Nautilus seems dead in the water. Not necessarily. I think it's probably correct that the Nautilus deck has a bad matchup against the Aurelion Sol decks, but I also expect the Aurelion Sol decks to become less popular as the format matures. Like, I don't think they're necessarily bad, but I think the novelty's definitely going to wear off. Yeah, it's not guaranteed to be the biggest thing in the room.
Go with the flow.
Sweet. So, Diana definitely going to eat Zap here in combat. Yeah, I think there's a lot of decks that get under the ASL deck appropriately. I'm gonna attack with this 2, because if they want to eat the 2/2 with their 2/3, I'll get to go ahead and Pale Cascade it. Pretty okay with all of these trading off. My quick attacker lives.
Try again.
I currently don't have a Nightfall enabler in my hand, which feels a little bad. I'd love to draw one of those. Nailed it.
I've whipped up something special. We are one and the same, Sunchild.
No more of your lies tonight.
If you just like 2 common cards casually talking to each other like it's no big deal. Just the amount of TLC put into random commons in this game compared to higher rarities in some other games, it's just so really sets it apart.
The full moon awakens the soul.
Tender loving care. So I think I want to play Lanari Priestess this turn because I want to possibly draw an enabler for my next Nightfall card. There's Written in the Stars. The Elusive's pretty appealing to grab though too. They're both decent enablers. This one uses my spell mana, but like I have Crescent Moon for spell mana. I'll take the Trickster.
Find your path in the dark and follow no false light.
So they have double powder kegs here, so hopefully if they make it rain, we can roll well. So make it rain, got to kill my 2 best units, which is a little unfortunate. Do I just Diana Pale Cascade here? I guess it's just gonna be another Diana, right? So it's like not a big deal. That's fine. So I'm gonna have 8 total mana next turn, so I can go Trickster into Diana into Doom Beast, which is great.
Was that a glimmer of starlight I saw?
So I want to lead on Diana here, because she gets bigger every time I trigger Nightfall again. Well, poop. It's been a hot second since I got Rex. And this feels like a good example of, you know, someone was complaining a second ago about... Yeah, someone was complaining a second ago about the new cards being too pushed, and like, people have just played with Riptide Rex for a while, right? This card's still just like very, very good. Like, Rex is still great. The decks that were good last season are still good now. Cards that were good last season, still good now.
Hide no longer. Sisters.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy to think that, like, you know, there were almost 24 decks that were playable last season, and, like, this new cards got added to the pool, and we're probably just, like, adding 4 or 5 more. I really feel like if they continue to balance this game well as they grow their card pool out, like, it's just very easily going to be, just like every card player's dream in terms of, like, format diversity.
They forced us to choose death or the blade.
Yeah, and that's the other thing too, right?
No
Like,
more hiding.
they can afford to start with things being strong, because if they miss the mark on some metrics, they can dial them back because they're not afraid to actively manage their game. Yeah, exactly, Clinic. Could not agree more. Alright, so do I want a Shadows into a Nightfall here, or do I want a Sister? Hey, Fox, bump up Ezreal Targan. Sounds good. Thanks for the support. Let's take Doom Beast here. And we'll play the non-ephemeral one. I mean, we kind of know what the opponent's doing, right? Like, they're playing... I guess it's fair we don't know... Like, I was expecting a pretty aggressive start, seeing Misfortune, but they haven't been aggressive so far. Want to do, like, a parlay here to finish this?
Shackle the prisoners!
As the picks.
Find me a flame-ridden lump!
What was a bad sequence by the opponent and why, Dirty Digits? I didn't catch anything.
No prey, no pay. The dawn has arrived.
So I haven't triggered Daybreak at all yet, but I've got a bunch of Daybreakers lined up. I agree that it would be nice if the Ephemeral had some kind of indication of it. Someone on the Runeterra subreddit had a good suggestion of they could put like a purple border around it in your hand, as opposed to like the blue border that we often see.
Try to leave a dent.
So Pix's bonus is temporary, so I am taking 4 here, but this is going to go back to a 2-2 here in a second. Cheap Daybreakers in conjunction with It's Always Sunny in Hoaglandia will mean that we get to level up Leona pretty quickly here.
Devotion through battle.
Am I okay potentially getting her lost in combat? I think so, because I think they'd have to block with Misfortune. I think they want to block the 2-2. I'm okay with that. Scottish Reaver, thanks for the 11 months. I appreciate that. Welcome back.
What's that you got there?
Thanks for keeping me around. It's going to make some Powder Monkeys for them. Powder Monkey's an ephemeral unit, which means it dies when it deals damage or at end of turn. That also deals the damage when it dies. So it just like pushes damage very effectively for them. This card basically makes 3 Powder Monkeys over the course of 3 turns. I think I just take the 4 here.
Love ya.
Bless the faithful and sear the heretics. All hands on deck!
Daylight warms the heart and lights the way. To shine like the sun, you must burn like it.
It's gonna make 2 spell mana here. Bilgewater, generally speaking, doesn't have any protection spells, so should just be dead.
Keep up, keep up.
delivered me to you once again. Our destinies are entwined.
Follow the horizon.
I will be heard.
There's really no reason to attack into the powder monkey, right? I just attack and hook this and then call it a day. So they're going up to 8 mana next turn, which is the magical shark turn. I'm going to play out the Dustbringer here because I want to maximize the number of potential hits I have for their shark. So if they like warning shot shark me, I want to be as wide as possible. Now, they didn't have a shark this turn, but they could have just bound a double shark. So hopefully we can kill them next turn before they really get going. They have a guaranteed warning shot now.
Bloom and fade with the morning.
So I'm going to get myself set up to open attacks here, I think.
Mother Moon Vera. The moon is our queen. The night, her kingdom. Forgive me.
It's so weird to me how much the Runeterra community seems to dislike Nab. Like, do people not realize they draw a random card off of their deck every turn, too? Oh, that one was ephemeral. Awkward. Definitely wasn't paying attention. Forgot that that was ephemeral. Well, I definitely need to play around Shark, right?
Mobs.
What's the rush, huh?
Must we fight?
You barnacle! You have to get me out of here!
Bloom and fade with the morning.
Especially post update. Like, I think when Nab was drawing cards off the top of your deck and like it disrupted things like Omen Hawk and stuff like that, I think then it was a little bit obnoxious. But like the fact that it now like grabs from the bottom of your deck when you weren't going to be playing those cards anyways, I really think it's super reasonable. And like the variance aspect of it, like it's less variance than playing against like what card they could have nabbed has more certainty than what random card they could just be playing, right? Like, you know all of the cards that are in your deck, right? So the variance aspect of it really just doesn't hold up under scrutiny. Like, I feel like the only valid complaints about Nab are ones that are emotional because you can't logic your way out of emotions, right? Like, you could say, it feels bad to get beat by my own card, and sure, that's how you feel, that's valid. But like, from its variance or like a game design perspective, I think it's perfectly fine. Yeah, it's entirely emotional, and that's fine. Like, games elicit emotions, but like, also be real and acknowledge that like, you're having an emotional response, not a logical one. Alright, so Stalking Shadows is a sweet Nightfall enabler. I think I'm gonna mulligan Pale, I like Leona into Dayspear, honestly. Their archetype's a little aggressive, and both of these large bodies are likely to be good here. Yeah, I think nabbing from the top incidentally nerfed cards like Omen Hawk, which wasn't good game design. But I think in...
Flowers upon my blade.
I mean, I don't even think, like, I think it's fine to discuss how the game makes you feel without it being complaining, necessarily, right? Like, it's okay to just communicate and say, you know, this makes me feel bad. And I think that's valid when talking about games, because games are things we're supposed to be playing for fun, right? So, like, if you're playing the game and it's eliciting emotions that make you feel bad, that's okay to bring up. So I think if enough people feel bad about something like that, it's appropriate to potentially change it, because again, you should be playing games for fun. I picked the cheap Daybreak card here, because getting cheap Daybreak triggers for Leona sounds good. I think I'm going to play out this and then this here before we attack. Well, that's rude. So do I let him just fog me? Or do I attack in and trade one of my units for 2 points of damage on their thing, plus... I feel like I just pass. I guess they're going to be able to force this to block though, right? Because this vulnerable is permanent? Yeah, actually, so because this vulnerable is permanent, I'm actually just going to attack here. Because if I don't attack here, they can just force this to block next turn, and then it's a similar exchange, but I don't get damage in.
My faith protects me.
Do I want to stun Nocturne? Probably not.
Daylight everlasting.
Solari control all that her warmth touches.
How's the free-to-play ability of Runeterra after this new expansion? Well, I mean, they didn't change their monetization model, so Runeterra still remains the most free-to-play friendly card game that exists, while also simultaneously being the best pay-to-play friendly game as well. Am I trading for this? I feel like I'm trading for this. I have another one in hand. Sounds good, comic. Thanks for the biddies. So she's not quite ready to level yet, but I can go Leona into Shadestalker here and get a hit with an elusive, which sounds nice. And then my next Daybreak unit will level her.
Not my own. Behold the sun's holy light. We will not suffer unbelief.
They will not escape punishment.
You trespass on
Hey, Casfiend, thanks for some gifts. I really appreciate that. So, opponent looks like they're setting up for pretty good open attacks next turn. Hopefully they'll want to trigger Nightfall to level her, so they might not. We're still at 20, which is nice, so we can take a hit if they open attacks. Sounds good, comic.
Daylight is unrelenting, but not eternal.
Daylight everlasting.
To shine like the sun, you must burn like it.
How much did she play a third deck today? $50.
The full moon. Find your path in the dark and follow no false light.
Bless the faithful and sear the heretics.
Always Sunny in Hoaglandia here, letting us trigger Leona the turn she levels is really great. See if they play another unit out here. Yeah, just like getting super rewarded for taking some of these earlier. Unfortunately, it's gonna stun this, so they're gonna get to kill Leona, but I have another Leona here.
I cannot turn back. Face your heretic. Open your eyes.
Well, to be fair, the donations to make me go longer are less bribes for me to play my favorite card game and more bribes for Christy to tolerate me playing more of the card game. The boss has to be happy. Thank you for your generosity, dude. Anything out of the queue you want? Sounds good. Let's do your Lisa and Tarek deck, actually. Let that, add that on to the end. See how that one feels. Are we starting with Leona here?
Day needs night. You've seen the visions. Visions from memories, not mine.
This actually lines up really well with the fact that it's always sunny in Hoaglandia. We have the shield bearers here. So we can go shield bearer, stun 3 things, smash this turn.
Clad in shining sunlight.
I almost feel like, so again, I want to prefix this statement with it is definitely too early to have any super concrete opinions on what's too good in this format. But I think if data shows that the Daybreak archetype's a little too pushed, I think the first thing I would try is pushing this card to a 6-drop. I think if there's a reason why the Daybreak archetype is too pushed, this card is largely responsible for it.
Devotion through battle.
The guilty were banned.
Fear not death.
And again, not certain that it is, but if it is, I'd blame this guy.
Cloaked in
Ooh, do we got double Pale Moon to kill my Leona? That's fine, I'm out of Daybreak cards. Deal.
sun sets.
They obviously can't know we're out of Daybreak cards. Shout out to the opponent for not being a Ghost Torino. Unless the opponent is ghosting the top card of our deck, chat. Did they know what we were gonna draw before we drew it? Were they clairvoyant? I'm gonna wait to play the Doom Beast until after combat because your Nexus can't have more than 20 life. So I want to wait till we take some damage to play that out so we can drain it back.
I will be heard. Forgive me.
I do not think anybody reasonable would recommend Leona Sol for fasting or climbing quickly. The ASOL decks are sweet, but they are definitely not fast.
You cannot sway me.
So I think I hold on to this to enable a Nightfall card next turn.
We are one and the same, Sunchild.
This is another lethal threat, so if this isn't a 2-for-1, they should be dead. Yeah, anytime. I pretty much catch most messages posted in chat. Our channel's a fairly interactive place. Like, and this is the other thing too, right? Like, people asking for, like, what do I think is optimal and, like, best decks? Like, we've played, like, 4 different Diana decks and, like, 3 different Leona decks, and they've all felt, like, varying degrees of reasonable and competitive. So, like, if someone asks me, like, which Diana deck do I think is the best right now, I genuinely don't know. I think the Teemo Diana deck we played yesterday was really sweet. I'm a sucker for aggro decks. That was definitely the most aggressive build we played. Zed Lulu. This matchup might be tough. I expect their archetype is going to be fairly linear and we're not super interactive. However, Duskbringer into Crescent Guardian is pretty good. I'm gonna mulligan the Shade Stalker. We're attacking on odd, so we can go on 1, on 3. I'm gonna keep the Leona as a little bit of board control. There's some interaction. Okay.
Only a fool would enter battle unprepared.
Whoa, you gotta focus. It's new. Sorry.
Super fine with that trade. I agree with that sentiment. Expeditions are more powerful than Magic Drafts, but I would not quite put them at the same power level as Constructed.
My faith protects me.
Shield Breaker is such a good, hey, you're not attacking me this turn card. Just like, hey, here's my defense up. Pretty sure we're just Crescent Guardian. This is a card that I've been super impressed by in these aggressive Nightfall decks. This was very, very good in the Teemo Diana build we played yesterday, too.
No mercy for heretics.
They're gonna open on... Maybe I'm not supposed to attack with my 3-2 there, because they're gonna open attacks with Zed. Yeah, I think attacking with my 3-2 was wrong, because I can open attacks with Zed and I have to jump block. They're not open attacking with Zed. God bless. I think this is a big mistake on my opponent's part. I think they're definitely supposed to make me choose. I guess if they could theoretically have been playing around like Pale Moon there, I suppose. That's definitely a combat trick they can expect us to play 3 of. But it's not strictly wrong, their play here, if they're electing to play around things.
Daylight is unrelenting.
Remember, it's easy to say what's right or wrong if you assume they know the cards in our hand, but they don't know the cards in our hand. So the question is asking is like, if they're supposed to make me have it there.
Bless the faithful and sear the heretics.
That was an excellent drop. We get Diana into Lenari Shade. Actually, I probably don't want to Shade Stalker here because if they have protection for this, I want to Pale Moon her. So it's pretty important that I kill Zed this turn.
Your heretic. Unseen, unheard, the new moon conceals you from our foes.
Yeah, Diana's spell is really good. This is a super, super great combat trick. I think my opponent's board could use a little bit more support here.
I do this.
How do you know if it's day or night? Day or night is dictated by which cards have been played for the turn. So if it's the first card you play in a turn, you trigger Daybreak. If it's not the first card, you trigger the other effect. We do this and go to 12.
Come, a new phase awaits. Moonlight guide me.
I think if you like the packages of cards that surround Diana and Leona, they're very safe craps. I think both of these champions and the surrounding Daybreak or Nightfall cards can slot into a lot of different shells and be competitive in them.
Blind me with resplendence, but they could not break.
So the thing about those champions specifically is that it's not just the champions you have to like, you have to also enjoy the cards that go with them. Is the thing worth mentioning, I think.
Stand and fight. Daylight everlasting.
I don't know. You might not have been here earlier, Pansy, and thanks for the 10 months. I really appreciate the Prime. Really makes me less nervous doing Runeterra content, especially when, like, a number of people that have been here subbed longer than I've been doing Runeterra stuff for are like, yeah, we're coming over to do Runeterra too. Sorry, to finish my train of thought, before you got here, I was talking about how there's been a number of Diana and Leona decks that feel competitive with lots of different shells around them. No Trundle in the queue. Yeah, we played Trundle Swain and we played Trundle Sol this week. Jinx Strafen. Well, our Daybreak half is definitely better against Aggro. I think I'm gonna mulligan the Pale Cascade here and look for another unit. Magic's been really good to me, and I appreciate that it's been my job for a while, but if Wizards of the Coast doesn't, like, really turn things around with their rotation, I think I'm gonna try and move into doing more Runeterra. And move away from that, if possible. I am not optimistic that I expect them to get their stuff in a bag and put it together. We'll see, though. I give them a chance. I agree, King Coop. I also think, you know, even if there's some risk in the short term for me, I think the ceiling on Runeterra is a lot higher than the ceiling in Magic. Yeah, Riot's definitely been great. But I mean, like, obviously Riot can't support any creator as a full-time job, Ragnaros. So, like, for example, for the better part of the last, like, 2.5 years that I've been making content as my job, I've had about 2,000 to 3,000 Twitch subscribers. So like at this exact moment, I have 2,726 sub points. Which for people that aren't familiar with the back end of my job, I get like about $3 before taxes per sub point. How are the metrics been? They've been reasonable. So obviously the viewer count's like 20 to 30% less, but the sub metrics are what matter a lot more. So this is an easy Leona here, right? We get to stun the Draven. Can someone say that number again? I have 2,700 subscribers at the moment. Yeah, which turns into about $2 per sub post-tax. Oh, I'm dumb. We're doing that. That's fine. This is still a 3-5.
God axes need victims.
So they have exactly one mana here.
No mercy for heretics. The guilty were banned.
Try to leave a dent.
They could have... Yeah, they could have the vision to give everything +1 attack.
The planets align.
I guess I have this, though. I have Pale Kassad.
I will protect you.
Yeah, I'm gonna do this. Yeah. Yeah, Croaky's like, when you hit like Croaky's level of viewers or like Mogwai or Swim level of viewers, you're like at a point where you can live off of ad revenue, though. I'm not quite in that range. Hey, Alka, thank you very much for the very generous sub gifts. I appreciate that. And just for the record, that wasn't me fishing. That was just me talking with you all about the back end of, like, what my job does. What the details of this are.
You suck.
Idiots! I will be free.
I mean, to be fair, Logan, most large Twitch chats, like, there's a reason why, thank you, Wellborn. Good afternoon to you.
Our son will not.
I was caught.
I am the bulwark against darkness.
Yeah, I agree, Chaotic Crawler. I also like, and I've talked about this before, but I think the real reason why Runeterra is such an elegantly designed card game, and this is something that Magic has missed a lot in recent memory, is that the way champions work on their fundamental design, where they give you, like, this goal to achieve in the game that you're playing, goes a really long way towards making you feel satisfied with the game that you play, even when you lose. Yeah, exactly. Like, you can, like, if I leveled my A-Soul and lost, I still got, like, my Sweet Dragon and I cast some big spells. Like, yeah, it feels like, give me Zen Grief. Thanks for the gifts, folks. I really appreciate that. And for folks that got gifted subs, you should pop into the Discord. A lot of great people in there talking about Runeterra and all sorts of other stuff. So with the Hush here, my 5/5 can actually block this really cleanly, right? So Hush silences a unit, which wipes all modifiers off of it and wipes all keywords off of it. Greeny T, thanks for the 30 months. Welcome back. Yeah, and it's not even just like what you accomplish with champions too, right? Like, it also feels good in Runeterra because there's so many fewer non-games, right? Like, it's very rare that you walk away from a game like, oh, I just didn't get to play and it was sad. Hush has been kind of a contested card among feedback from other creators and community members. I actually really like the design on this a lot. I actually think Hush is a good example of, again, what makes Runeterra super sweet, because, like, there's interaction for basically everything. And I think that it's a huge net positive that that's the case. Yeah, like, they knew the other Hush was there, so they're just, like, forcing my mana for the turn. Seems like a not great exchange for them. Oh, that makes sense. Okay, so Augmented Experimenter, they were going to lose their hand anyways. Yeah, Jinx or Experimenter is the last card. And see, that's, again, why it's a good example of it's hard to judge the opponent's plays without knowing all the information. Because their plays seemed strange, but when we get the extra info, it's like, ah, I get you now.
Ours is the one true light.
Yeah, I think that's true too, Chich. Like, the fact that you don't need narrow specific answers in Runeterra is also great. Get some Drain Beasts going here. Yeah, they wanted me to spend my mana, and they were going to empty their hand anyways with this. I think I'm just playing another Drain Beast and then attack you with my 3-power dorks here. Get back up to 17.
Just you and me, Fishbones.
That's a Jinx. So, can they empty their hand with 2 mana? Probably. Good chance this levels and gives us a run for our money.
Research. How easy on the hands? They're new.
So, when Jinx levels, she draws them extra cards each turn, and she creates Super Mega Death Rockets, which are 17 times faster than the previous Mega Death Rockets. Thanks, Ziggs.
Part of the plan, I just made up.
So, Hush, the threat of Hush makes attacking with Jinx not particularly appealing for them, right?
Smile! It's called gunplay.
Sure, I think that could be a concern innuendo. It could be Hush at 3 mana could be similar to Will of Iona in that, like, it's good and you always play it, and auto-include cards like that could be argued are bad. And I think that's a fine position to take on Hush. So I don't get to kill Jinx, but the fact that she's hushed here means she doesn't level up this turn, which is great for us. Yes, it does. It stops the champion from leveling this turn. Oh, wait. Oh, after she's unhushed, their hand's still empty. That makes sense. They don't draw a card until we're into my turn. Got it. I understand now. That's not good for us, but I understand what happened there. It's always sunny in Hoaglandia, so he gets a Sultari Shieldbreaker as a 3/6 here. Yeah, it's a passive triggered on a one-time check like a soul, is exactly correct. That's a missile. So I don't have anything with 1 toughness currently, so that's nice. So here's a question actually. When I play this Diana at 4/4, does she come in as a 5-3? Or is she a 3-3 here? Let's find out. I hope she's a 5-3. Is it a 3-3? No, she is a 5-3. Okay, yeah, she is a 5-3. Yeah, chat. Get bent, chat. This works exactly how we want it to work. Get him. Alright, so you say there's a chance. Listen, I'm glad it worked that way. I knew exactly how it was going to work and I was testing you. Most of you failed.
Jinx? Stands for Jinx?
Well... when you unsub from the channel, Discord boots you after 7 days, I think. So here's a question. Do I play this now and open attacks next turn? Or do I hold it so I can trigger Nightfall on Diana? Because they're going to get to draw 2 cards next turn. I think I just want to open attacks. Because the problem here is I don't want to chump block Jinx, so I'm going to 8, which means a second rocket kills us next turn. So the plan here is hope they draw 2 units that they can't play and then open attacks. Is the plan. So we're hoping that neither of these can block or stop our attackers. Hey, gamble paid off. I think that's right. There are definitely a number of cards there that beat us, but I think that's our play to win line. I just like hope they have Running Bricks on top. Swain, Twisted Fate, so probably a control deck. I don't want Hush to start, I don't think. Soltari Priestess against a mid-range control deck sounds fine. Stalking Shadows can enable a Nightfall just fine, so we keep this. Nailed it.
Bless the faithful and sear the heretics.
Bless the faithful and sear the heretics.
Whipped up something special. They forced us to choose death or the blade.
So they're gonna make it rain here. Do I play Soltari Priestess, hoping one of my 2-power things fades to make it rain? I think that's the line. Do I want to take a Falling Comet to bank as Swain removal? I think so. I'm not sure we're going to be able to run them down, so I think I want to be able to interact. Just like we drew it up.
No more hiding. You got legs. Use them.
We will be free.
Yeah, Comet and Meteor Shower. Comet and Meteor Shower are definitely some of the best pickups there.
Packed him good.
Sweet. When your Nightfall card gets you a Nightfall enabler. The Soltari are an MTG race. Are they? Are they something out of Mirrodin? The goodest boy. I'm gonna open on attacks here to force in case they have a make it rain. I don't want my good boy to die to that.
Glory, courage, excuses for war.
Bask in her radiant blessing.
I suppose this means I get to open on hitting me with Swain. It's not great.
Such little lies.
Let's just blast him to Kingdom Come. Oh yeah, they're the white shadow cards from Tempest Block, right? Yeah.
It reminds us there is always more to discover.
It's really bad, Silence. I tweeted this out the other day. The strangest, like, there's a lot of really weird, strange trends among Republicans. And, like, the fact that they keep posting videos of America right now while Trump is president and being like, this'll be Biden's America, you gotta vote for Trump again. And it's like, that's literally America right now, dude. Like, what is your problem? How much, what have you been drinking? How stupid are you? Have you not been paying attention for, like, the last whatever? Trump is basically running on the platform of he's the only one that can save them from what the current Trump presidency has created. Which is, an interesting platform to run on when you're president.
What do the stars reveal, Mother Moon?
Like, he keeps running like he needs to be criticizing the platform of the person before him, and he is the person before him.
Deploying!
Yeah. Yeah, the Biden nepotism claims are something. No, yeah, it's like it's so out there. It feels like it has to be overblown because there's no way it could possibly be real. But like it really is in fact very real and very depressing.
The power of the immortal sun. Behold the divine power of the sun.
Yeah, it is very typical RNC strategy. Create a problem and then say you can solve the problem. Create an other and then attack that other. So they're gonna play a Swain here. Do I just start by attacking?
For truth.
I think that's the plan. Maybe I'm supposed to play Diana, because Diana could eat the spider. I want to get another 3-power thing into play, so that way I have extra blockers for their fearsome thing here. Get to bank up to 3 spell mana here. It's always sunny in Hoaglandia, chat. Okay, so do I want to hush Swain here? Probably not, right? I just let this happen. He'll trigger stun this, and then I'll play It's Always Sunny.
Their time.
And the Always Sunny will stun Swain.
May our light shine forever.
So I need to dodge second Leviathan here.
Prepare the cargo! There is no excess when victory is at stake.
I think I messed up. I think I should have led. I missequenced. I should have led on Soltari Priestess, so that way I could generate this Falling Comet, and then when they played this, I could have Falling Cometed it instead of playing Always Sunny. So this feels bad, but I definitely messed this up.
Must we fight?
It's easy to complain about a second Leviathan, but I definitely punted here. I definitely should have started on Soltari Priestess. So I'm going to take 3 down to 7. And then I think we're just dead here at this point because of my mistake. If I would have been able to wipe this out, we would have been okay. Yeah, that's true. Maybe Shield Breaker plus Morning Light plus Hushing My Own Thing could get us there. Hey, Anti-Evil, thanks for the 22 months of support. I really appreciate that. Welcome back.
Find your own light within the darkness.
Yours is a light I cherish, sister.
So this hits us 3 times, which triggers Swain 3 times to stun our 3 strongest back row units. I played Diana out as, hey, look, a distraction.
My faith protects me.
So I need It's Always Sunny, and I need Diana.
And the lights
We'll get rid of the other stun things. We might be able to kill them with Shield Breaker into Morning Light.
unyielding light.
Because I can also hush their Swain in response to any damage here. Sand's warning shot, he said. Although I guess I should have hushed Swain before playing this out.
Merely Paul in a greater game.
Like a fish in water.
So this'll happen. We'll stun both their things. Our things will get bigger. Do they have another blocker? Oh my god, that was the absolute stone cold nuts generation. So we kill them through a blocker with that now? Because this triggered this, which generates, so like, that's some good RNG, chat. Oh no, not petty officer. No, that's fine though, right? Because I play this and one of them gets stunned. We still beat that, right? They block a 5, they take 12. So little bit of good beats there. So I almost threw this in the garbage can with my sequencing earlier, but Leona really showing her power here. Really impressive. Impressive run for the deck here. Yeah, they're realizing they're dead.
Sol Invictus.
That's a good one. That's a good one to end this deck on. That was an incredible set. So, this deck was quite stunning. Really impressed with it. So again, I feel like the thing I need to point out the most about this archetype is, for starters, look at the curve. Like, the curve of this archetype is gorgeous as far as an aggro deck is concerned, right? We've got 6 1-drops, a bunch of 2s, a bunch of 3s, and then some top-end finishers. Now, I've talked about this before, but again, the thing that continually sticks out in my mind as making these Targon aggro decks impressive are the priestesses. Lunari Priestess and Solari Priestess really give these decks the ability to go toe-to-toe with mid-range and sometimes even control decks as the games go long. So like with Diana and like the Shield Breaker, Shadows, Crescent Guardian, sometimes you get under people, but you also have the ability to not just get completely outclassed in the mid game because these invoke cards are so flexible. So like when you're being aggressive, you can find more aggressive cards with invoke, and when you need to step up your game and focus on card advantage or interaction, they let you do that. So like these are the types of situational cards that really let good players leverage play skill. They let you make decisions to find key cards that are going to try and dig you out of whatever situation you're in a really satisfying way. Alright, for people that are new to the channel and everybody else, don't go anywhere. I'm going to hit a quick ad roll while I get set up for the next deck. I like to post it on Twitter, make sure it's up on Mobalytics. We're going to take a quick break, and when we get back, we are going to try another Diana aggro deck. We are going to try some Jinx Diana aggro. So we'll be back in just a couple of minutes. Thanks for hanging out today, folks. Don't go anywhere. That'll be coming up after Jinx Diana. Hey, thanks for the Prime Klets. I appreciate it. Yeah, all the decks in the stream title, GT Wills, are decks that we're going to be playing today in the order in which I intend to play them.